This is the award-winning Eyewitness News at 5:30.
The husband of a local deputy is dead after killing their 2 children and then turning the gun on himself. Good evening. We'll have more on that story in just a moment, but first, things were heating up at the Monroe Street Conference Center in Tallahassee today.
4 candidates running for the congressional seat in District 2 battled it out at the podium. Eyewitness News reporter Jennifer Milton was at the forum. She joins us live in the studio with more on that. Jen.
Lee, Angela, it certainly seemed like a battlefield at some parts of today's forum. Congressman Alan Boyd, Steve Sutherland, Paul McCain, and Diane Berryhill answered a series of questions in front of the Northeast Business Association as they fight to gain support from the public. The candidates spoke firmly about issues they think makes them the best person to represent our state in Congress's 2nd District. A series of 4 questions were asked, and each candidate was allotted 2 minutes on the floor in front of the Northeast Business Association members. The first was about health care.
If not this, then what? If not now, then when? Nowhere in that document does the federal government have the right to make you and I purchase anything from a private company.
It's got to be replaced. It's not even, take that back, not replaced. It's got to be removed. We need to get back what we had and just improve what we had.
We need to reform how people are getting their insurance. We also need to do some tort reform. And Medicare and Medicaid are killing our health care system.
When asked about tax cuts, Congressman Boyd said he is on record supporting the cuts, but then turned up the heat and lashed out at Sutherland.
He signed a pledge by the Americans for Tax Reform, which will protect the tax breaks for corporations which sends jobs overseas. Secondly, he has advocated a tax which will put a 23% tax on everything that you buy. This is done by the St. Petersburg Times, not a very friendly newspaper to conservatives. However, you will see that the fabricated lies that we're getting from our congressmen, shouldn't we deserve better? You know what?
Other hot topics included feelings on cap and trade, and if elected, how would these candidates help small businesses? All 4 candidates stood their ground and gave us a glimpse on what we should expect in the November election. Like I mentioned, other important issues were discussed, and we'll have that video available on our website later this evening. Lee, Angela, back to you.
All right, Jen, thanks. Well, it wasn't that long ago that Attorney General Bill McCollum and Rick Scott were exchanging heated barbs against one another. Now, though, it appears that McCollum may be joining forces with his former nemesis.
The Attorney General says he is leaning towards voting for Scott for governor, but has yet to give a full endorsement. McCollum says that he's gotten over some of the bitterness that followed his loss to Scott in the August primaries. McCollum also said he would not vote for Democratic nominee Alex Sink under any circumstances. But Chairwoman Nancy Argenziano feels otherwise. She says that she's leaving the Florida Public Service Commission 3 months early so she can endorse Democrat Alex Sink for governor. Her term is over at the end of the year, and a nominating panel rejected her bid for reappointment. Well, tragedy hit at home in Colquitt County as the deputy's husband shoots and kills their 2 children, then takes his own life.
Eyewitness News reporter Aram Ali joins us live from Thomasville with more.
I spoke to neighbors of Colquitt County Deputy and School Resource Officer Angela McDougall. They didn't want to talk on camera, but they told me the McDougalls always seemed like a happy couple, and this double murder-suicide is a complete shock. Authorities say it began around 10:30 last night when Angela McDougall and her husband KG got into a fight at their home in the 100 block of Cool Breeze Drive. Investigators say she was badly injured and ran across the street to a neighbor's house to get help when gunshots were heard. When the deputy got back home, she found her children and her husband dead, the victims of a murder-suicide. Mrs. McDougall worked as a school resource officer at CA Grade Junior High School, and Mr. McDougall worked at a Colquitt County elementary school. Deputies say he was not a teacher, but he did work in classrooms. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is now working the case with the assistance of Colquitt County authorities. The entire Colquitt County community is still reeling in from the shock of this tragedy, especially the students. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from the principal of the school where Mrs. McDougall was a school resource officer and where her son was a 9th grader.
Tragedy there. Rob, thank you. Crime Stoppers wants to thank the public for their help in the arrest of Jason White. White was wanted for stealing a vehicle from a mother who has children with special needs. According to authorities, White knew the victim and took her vehicle at a time when he knew that she needed it for her children. The vehicle has since been recovered, and just today, Crime Stoppers is happy to report that White has been turned into authorities and is under arrest.
And Crime Stoppers need your help now tonight in regard to a bank robbery at the Wachovia Bank. The suspects robbed the ATM at the South Monroe branch on October 4th. The suspects were armed with a handgun, and the subject in the jacket is the same individual in the black t-shirt. Both subjects are wearing a unique necklace. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 574-TIPS. Veterans Day is a month away, but a group of local vets are less than a half hour away from facing county commissioners to see if they have the final approval to move forward with this year's parade.
Eyewitness News reporter Lenitra Bennett joins us live from the American Legion with more.
In February, the Leon County Commission gave a group of local veterans the blessing, if you will, to go ahead and start planning this year's Veterans Day Parade in Tallahassee. Well, tonight those veterans are getting ready to face the board to give them a final update on how things are going. Now, this is video from last year, which was supposed to be a parade, but it was canceled just before start time because of potential rain. That struck a nerve with a lot of veterans who say they feel rain should not have stopped the community from honoring war heroes. The Leon County Commission gave the veterans the okay to organize this year's parade. The parade will begin at 10:30 on November 11th. Again, the meeting starts at 6 o'clock at City Hall for the Leon County Commission meeting. And Joe West, who is the president of this group of veterans, he says that this parade will be bigger and better than ever before. They're expecting the Marching Chiefs from FSU and the Marching 100 from FAMU, and of course all of the local high school bands. So they expect a grand time, and he says that he does expect commissioners to give the final okay to go forward with this parade.
And Lenitra, is the group still having a hard time paying for this grand event?
They are. Over the past several months, they have been trying to get contributions from the community, but Joe West says that they are several $1,000s short. So anyone who would like to volunteer or try to help out and contribute to this year's Veterans Day Parade, you can go to WCTV.tv for more information.
All right.
Thanks, Lenitra. Straight ahead here at 5:30, Facebook 1, Gap 0. We'll tell you why this famous brand says they are listening to the social network and making changes.
And I'll have a look at a couple showers actually showing up on Megawatt Doppler, plus the very latest on Hurricane Paula.
Plus, we'll go live where a group of locals are hoping to stomp out the number of child deaths each year. Your news at 5:30 continues next.